Hello and welcome to the National Real Estate Post. Frank Ray here. Obviously, I have another guest with us today. We're going to get to you in a second, Christine. Hang on. Today's show is going to be about Christine and her company, which is 2020 Vision for Success. And it's very cool, so stay tuned for that. But before we get started, of course, got to get our mention out of the way. And not that it's in the way, but, got to let you guys know what's going on. We've got a great webinar this Thursday. It's My Link Solution, and this is the second webinar or the third that we've done with it. I personally use this product as a real estate agent, and this thing is awesome. It just goes out there on LinkedIn. It's a little machine that just goes and finds people and starts conversations with them about whatever it is you're trying to do, be it real estate, recruiting, mortgages. It really doesn't matter. But it's just super cool because it's just always working for you and starting conversations. I personally have had many conversations about real estate already. So I'd really encourage you guys to check it out. It's this Thursday, 10 a.m. Click the banner you see right here on the screen over on your right, or you can just look down below the banners there where you can register. There's a link around here on Facebook somewhere, so don't miss that. So now let's get started. As you can see, I have Christine Beckwith with me today. Hi, Christine.
Hi.
So how are you?
Good.
Good.
I'm happy now. I'm here.
Yeah, well, I'm happy you're here too. So if you're not familiar with Christine, you may have been living under a rock for the past couple of years, but she has really just come out and blossomed and really has been making a big impact on the mortgage industry lately. She's everywhere. Gosh, you're speaking like way too much, as we discussed earlier before we started this
Definitely.
show. But she's a fabulous coach and trainer for the mortgage industry, and we'll show you how to get connected to her right at the end of the show. But again, the name of her company is 2020 Vision for Success Coaching, and I wanted to ask her a couple of questions that I think would be helpful for us looking forward going into 2020. And so, Christine, with that, I'm going to ask you a couple questions real quick and see what you feel about it. Okay?
Awesome. Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
So, out of all the people that you're mentoring and coaching and training, I'm sure that you come across a lot of commonalities, right? Like some things that are very common amongst sales professionals in the mortgage industry, right? So they
Sure.
come to you, they're looking for help, or their companies have hired you to help them. They're looking for help, and of course, you're getting to learn these people and understand them. Is there something that you found to be pretty common in 2019 amongst the originators that you're working with that kind of is a common thing that's kind of holding people back or getting in the way of their success? Is there something, maybe one or more things, but one in, maybe one in particular, one thing that kind of stands out as, man, this thing is just the most common thing that needs to
hmm
get unraveled or whatever it is? What would you
Yeah.
say that is?
It's so funny that you're asking me this because I'm very analytical. I'm constantly assessing. I've been, I may be newer to the coaching world, but I am not new to coaching, training, and leading. Obviously, we met years ago inside the company I previously worked for, and then I was training and teaching and doing all of those things. To answer you, two things come to mind, like off the top of my head, and one of those big things, it's really lives inside of us and has nothing to do with the industry. And I'm going to do that one second because I think it can be portrayed a little bit negative. It's not intended to be, but it's authentic and it's a real answer, and I believe it truly is still the number one reason that loan officers aren't successful in some areas. The second one, which I'm going to say first, the big problem I saw with some originators this year was getting stuck in the weeds of pricing.
Okay.
I will tell you that loan originators that struggle with price can really get in their head about it. And here's what I know is there's only one company out there that has the best interest rate. Only one. I don't know who it is, but there's one out there somewhere that has the very best interest rate. Relatively speaking, because of the 07, 08 regulations, we are in a position where we can't really gouge clients anymore. So the truth is, unless there's a company out there that's really bad, rates are relatively similar. And then, of course, if you get into some product outliers, you can have a little bit of a difference in price. But when loan officers get in a place where they believe that they are not competitive pricing wise, I can tell you that is like the kiss of death in sales.
Interesting.
And so, you know, I do a class that I said see. I
I was
do
gonna say that. You just like me, but
I'll
go
do the
on.
jokes.
Yeah,
I
I'll
can't
leave
do
the jokes to
jokes.
you.
I am not funny actually, so I'm gonna grab whatever I can. Uh, but that said, you cannot, when you get in your head that way, you know, you end up, you know, selling yourself out of products, selling yourself into corners. I know a lot of loan officers that brought this up. I do a class called Overcoming Pricing Objections, and it's very generic, but it's techniques for loan officers on how they can, you know, start the conversation from a place where they truly believe that they are offering a competitive product. Because listen, it's an age old thing, but interest rate is not the only price indicator on a mortgage product. You know, closing costs also equate to the finance charge, as we know, if you really understand what's behind an APR. And so if you've done the math and you're NMLS licensed, you should know, because by now, if you're NMLS licensed, you're an underwriter, right? Or a compliance officer, one or
Right.
the other. Congratulations. But in your seat as a loan officer, you truly, truly know that pricing wise is the whole risk factor assessment. It is also the you know, interest rate, but it's also the closing cost. And so I feel loan officers that just say they get those clients that drive to the interest rate question, and they don't know how to get out of it other than to look and see if they can compete with the quoted rate that the consumer is giving them. And if an LO can't get into that conversation on the basis of risk pricing, on the basis of the other costs, and truly make themselves seen, maybe they're giving more LTV, maybe they have more aggressive DTI, maybe they're giving a product that doesn't even exist at a competitor's level, and they're winning in that way, and they should be winning the client's business for those reasons. Maybe they hold their servicing and that matters to the client, but I don't know what it is. Do they ask or get into those questions? So number one, I see that still being a real obstacle, and
Yeah.
I've seen it make loan officers jump a fence and go to another lender, only to find themselves with an interest rate sheet that also isn't the number one interest rate. And the
Gotcha.
second thing I was going to say was execution. The number one death of all entrepreneurship is execution. I see loan officers that really have a hard time structuring their days and weeks, that right now with this high volume are caught in the trenches of sitting on their pipelines, you know, truly like they're laying the golden egg, and they're just not scaling. They're not hiring. They're surviving. They're reactionary to the market, and they're just, you know, picking up all these apples that we call volume right now from the mini refi boom we're having. And you know what? It's crippling them in 1,000 other ways. Branch managers that can't scale, originating managers that aren't focused anymore on business scaling and their business plan, because you know what? They're just drowning in the volume that they're in. And so it's really hard for me to say, hey, take the time management class if they're like, I can't come, I don't have enough time.
Right. Right.
You get it.
That was an awesome answer, by the way. And obviously, Christine can help with those issues. So, my next question for you would be this: going ahead into 2020 now, as an originator, what would be the, you know, like the one thing that is going to demand the most attention or the most focus? What would be the thing that you would focus on the most? I know there's a
Yeah,
lot of things to pay attention to, but if there's this one thing that, let's
sure.
start here and then we'll go down from there, what would that one thing be going forward in 2020?
I honestly believe that loan officers that continue to resist the social media movement are going to find themselves so far behind eventually that they are not going to catch up to those that are evolving. You know, the average age of the loan officer is 53 as of 2019. I can't wait, or 18. We've been carrying that number all year. Can't wait to see what the number is, because for the first time in the last decade and 15 years, you know, we've been over predicted to the millennial movement. The millennials are coming. The millennials are coming, and they didn't come. They stayed in their basements, parents' basements, playing Fortnite. And so, eventually, in the last, you know, 24, 48, you know, or 24 months, I should say, 2 years, we began to actually see some percentages of employment go to the millennial headcount. And what they come bearing is mobility desires. They look at our systems and think they're archaic, and they're not going to stand for it. And there's enough fintech out there. And let me tell you something. I have no reason to say this. I am not being sponsored by anybody behind the curtain that is going to tell you fintech. I have won a fintech award in the banking industry because my training platform is on a virtual training interactive system, because quite frankly, you can't coach. How many people could I coach? We could do simple
Right.
math. How many
Yeah.
people can I coach in 40
Yeah.
hours? Well, I built a system that you can scale. So, you know, I'll say this. I've gone, you know, 2 years ago, I went to Washington, D.C. for MBA. Last year, this past month, I went to Austin, and I sat in on the fintech that's there. And the reason why I think fintech and social media are hand in hand is because they're both technology things that influence our business, and they're both highly resisted by a large population. I know that because I see the saturation at the 10% level of people that are using it. And I do see people starting to come in and use video. And it's like everybody that's over here on this side of the fence is looking at everybody that's over here on that side of the fence. And all the naysayers, which there are more of, are saying, oh my God, look at those over egotistical, self-stroking, you know, people that are showing their awards and saying how great they are. And, you know, they think they're crazy. I'm just going to stay here. I don't need them. I've got my realtors. I knock on doors. I hold lunch and learns. I'm a trusted advisor. And I've built my entire business on, you know, handshaking and networking. I don't need social media. Well, you know what? That's probably true today. You probably have plenty of volume that you need, and you don't need to evolve. But let me tell you, I really believe that the guys that are converting, scaling, and growing over here on social media, who are doing videos, a lot of these loan officers in these branches, they have like media crews now. They have I have a studio I'm in right now. I didn't have a studio a year ago. I'm a 50-year-old professional. Why do I need a studio? Well, now I have a podcast. I didn't have a podcast a year ago. Why do I have a podcast? Well, because I got to find a way to get my voice out. Why do I need to get my voice out? I need to get my voice out because I'm competing in a market with dozens of other people that are coaches who have been here a lot longer than I have in the space, and nobody knows who the hell I am. They look at my image on social media and I'm a face, and they're going to make an assumption of what I am. And you know what? For the last decade of my career, I got dismissed as a business development manager, as the company trainer, as the marketing director. And I wasn't. I was a sales executive, a true blue executive with loan officers and branch managers rolling up to me. And I had to walk around defending that title. And so I knew getting into this, and so do loan originators, unless you get your voice out there and you authentically show who you are, the market share is going to go to the people that are doing it. And so I think it's time. I think the time has come. I think it's going to be really something lost for people in the next year to 2 years if they're not in the space. And I think you're going to see 30-40% of the mortgage industry move in that direction. And everybody else needs to start figuring it out.
Wow. And obviously, if people needed some help with this, you can help them. Awesome. So what I'll do, guys, is down below, there's going to be a 2020 Vision for Success coaching banner down below on the show. Click that. You'll go right to Christine's site. If you're on Facebook, there's a link around here somewhere. We can click off and go to her site to get connected with Christine. Also, do us a favor, guys. Leave us your comments down below. Forward and share. The little Facebook button down here. You can share that. Start a conversation. With that, subscribe for free in your upper right-hand corner. And we'll catch you again here at the National Real Estate Post. Thanks so much, Christine. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. It's been fun. We'll have you back again, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. We'll have a good one. We'll catch you guys later here from the National Real Estate Post. Bye-bye.